Will someone please decide what color I'm supposed to be already? Well, it turns out they did actually decide on what color Drift is going to be. In the next movie, he's going to be black and orange, just like his RID toy, strangely enough. You know, not like his original character at all or anything like that. But it's going to be repainted from this toy from Age of Extinction. Let's take a look at the original Drift so we know what we are in for once the new one comes out. And for once, I actually know what I'm holding in my hands. This is a Bugatti Veyron, an extremely cool car that I've always been a fan of, even when I'm not a car guy in the least. He's cast in a deep blue plastic, which does look quite nice, and electric blue, trimming around the front all the way around the sides, all the way around to the back. They rarely paint the back these days. Look, even silver for the taillights. It's amazing. Paint on the front as well. Black for the grille, a little bit of red there for where the emblem should be, and then more silver for the headlights. Now, while this does look good, it looks like quite the cool car. And there you go with the Autobot sigil on the side. It is a little bit disconcerting and maybe a little bit inaccurate. See, when they first showed pictures of the car from the movie, I could have sworn, and a lot of people swore, it was black and electric blue, which looked way better. A lot of his imagery from the movie looked black and blue. You know, I've also seen photos of the exact same car where it seems like it might have been like a really dark shade of blue. Either way, for the toy, they brightened him up quite a bit, and maybe to the toy's detriment, because that's such a cool look, the dark on electric blue, and this just kind of blends a little bit too much. Still, not a bad deco. It looks decent enough. Molding-wise, let's see what else we have. Here in the back, we seem to have an engine of some sorts. This is where my knowledge of the Bugatti immediately begins failing me. But we have a lot of mechanical detail that has been left unpainted, unfortunately. I expect at least some kind of detailing paint in there. We also have the spoiler, which on the Veyron does extend upward should you need more downforce. I'm not sure how much downforce you're going to get with no gap underneath the spoiler, but hey, there you go. But yeah, it's in permanent, like full speed mode, molded in, doesn't go down or anything. So if you are unfamiliar with how the Veyron works and you don't know about that, it does look a little bit strange to just have that gigantic spoiler sticking up from the back. But hey, then again, it's what his legs are going to be, so at least he's got great heel spurs, I guess. So yeah, you can see, you can actually see the Bugatti emblem in the back there. There we go. Or okay, I'm not sure. Probably the original company. I don't know. I'm trying to act like I know about cars for once. Also, painted rims. Thank you. It's very rare, but I like it when I see it. So, not a whole lot to speak of in this mode. I will say, though, that thankfully, he can store his weaponry, which I'm going to go ahead and remove, pending their need for transformation. Now, the unfortunate thing is, when those are pegged in, I can't get a good roll on this toy. So he rolls fine here, but with the swords pegged on, there's not enough clearance underneath. Maybe just me doing something wrong, might just be my version of the toy. I don't know. Either way, I can't get him rolling with those attached. Alright, so let's get him into robot mode and keep the review rolling along. I'm going to go ahead and take these panels off, which is kind of frustrating. When you transform him back, the hands kind of have to fit into these grooves behind his legs, and sometimes it doesn't want to go unless the arms are in just the right positions. He's a little bit finicky to get back into vehicle mode. Not too bad to get into robot mode, though. So, I'm going to go ahead and open up the legs and get feet down. Spoilers fold completely up, so yeah, not so much for heel spurs. So hey, that's a thing. So that out of the way, can rotate those panels back to expose the legs a little bit better. Wish they folded all the way down, but they do not. The arms, and only part of the hood is going to become his actual chest. So we're going to rotate the entire back shell around. It can wiggle this in. God, there's so much banging around on this toy. So not quite as fluid as I remember him. What I want to do is fold this up. There we go. Rotate that around so we can clean up the look of his backpack considerably. I'm going to wait to plug that back in. We'll go ahead and get his head into place. And we'll get the chest going here. Man, this guy's giving me a lot of stubborn issues here, which probably comes from the fact that I have not really transformed this toy much. Alright. Hang on. Okay, literally had something in the mechanics stuck there. That's frustrating when I'm filming, because that's supposed to very smoothly go down, and then the head is supposed to come up like so, and that's supposed to be easy. Okay, go ahead and fold up the sides, the car doors, to the sides of the shoulders. And with that out of the way, let's see where we can shore this up. Because the slot to actually peg this in folds up to the back, and that's going to peg in just below his neck. I'm going to go ahead and adjust these parts in the back just so it looks a little bit better. So that by the end of this, we get our fully transformed Drift in robot mode. Very, very blue Drift. This is kind of where I wish the black, or at least the darker blue, was a thing, because he is awash in bright colors on this guy. And of course, yes, very samurai-esque. But hey, at least he doesn't transform too badly for a movie toy. No, it's always my pet peeve when it comes to these things. Head-wise, that's certainly unique. Yeah, they kind of went full-on with the samurai motif on this guy, to the point where, yeah, he's just wearing this big Shogun helmet-looking thing. It's a little bit distracting having this gigantic gold face and crown on this robot when everything else is blue and black and electric blue. It's a little bit distracting, but hey, it's a little bit different too. I will commend it for that at least. You gotta wonder the mindset of a robot who falls, who spends millions of years on his home planet, falls to Earth and randomly decides, I'm gonna look like that set of armor. It's a little bit strange. And that motif, of course, goes across his entire body. He decides that he really, really likes Japanese history, so he's dressed up in full Shogun armor. And, hey, I guess that's the thing. I guess that works for him. I'm not going to argue his taste and his style, but hey, it's his thing. Let him have it. So yeah, like that, you can see all the interlocking panels that make up the shoulder armor, as well as down here in the thighs, giving a more traditional armor appearance to what is traditionally supposed to look like a robot, like you do. So, what else? Well, that's pretty much it. You can see lots of mechanical details added in. I do like seeing that. I do like seeing some of the extra metallic blue added in for it. I wish the arms had some paint, just to separate them out a little bit. They're a little bit bare. The legs not so bad, because you do have the black breaking things up, and of course the remains of the car mode. I did flip these sides down before anyone has me. You forgot that part of the transformation. It's right there. Don't worry. I got it. Yeah, so all in all, detailing-wise, not too bad. It's very strange aesthetic, kind of mixing in the traditional Japanese and the alien robot. But in some places it works, and I don't know, some places maybe not. It's going to depend on a personal preference issue. I don't mind it so much, but it is a little bit strange. Let's go to articulation before we get to accessory, because accessory is quite a bit. Neck, fully ball jointed, moves around in all directions. Always like to see that. Universal shoulders means plenty of range and movement in there, and luckily his panel somehow manages to avoid those blades on the back. Thankfully they do hinge, so you can also adjust them as needed. They hinge above too, so you have plenty of room there. Bicep swivel works. Elbow works with a faux ratcheted joint. You even have a hinge to the wrist, just in case you need something like that. Nothing in the waist. That seems like such a rare thing. But you do have these faux ratcheted hips. You can hear the detenting in there. That's good detenting. Thigh swivel. Thigh swivel works plenty. Knees. This is the point of contention. The knee does not bend all that great, unfortunately, because part of the transformation is to bend this piece back directly into them. And you can rotate the piece back and get more range out of the knee, but you're still going to hit the parts eventually. So it's a little bit of a give and take with the toy's knee articulation. And no ankle rocking of any kind. You just get a back and forth, which isn't too advisable because you don't really get a whole lot of back. Pretty much just the transformation element. So he does come up with a decent amount of articulation, and for a swordsman, I would expect no less. Wrist articulation, I think, in a sword-wielding robot, sword-wielding action figure in general, is paramount. It's a very important thing. So he has a little bit of extra thanks to that wrist bend, but he does not quite have what he needs. Go ahead and mount up his swords that came off the robot mode, and he does look quite good with them. He does rock the look pretty well, and the added gold does kind of let his head look a little bit more like it's in place, and it's one reason why I left the daggers on in transformation. You notice, these parts themselves are actual extra weaponry. They are a pair of daggers that you can also equip should you want a little bit of a short weapon, because it is one of those techniques to block with a short sword and attack with a long sword. So it's cool that he has like multiple configurations and multiple styles of weapons. It lets you kind of fine-tune your samurai to your preference of fighting styles, which is not so much a bad thing. So that, my friends, is Age of Extinction Drift. He is not a bad figure at all. I don't think he's such a bad choice to be recasting for the new toy. Now, the new one is based on a different vehicle, to my knowledge, but it looks like the transformation is retained, so it pretty much just looks like a reskin of this toy. So I don't think you're going to go too wrong, especially if they fix some of those tolerances that keeps his vehicle mode from coming together as tightly as it can. Plenty of accessories, very, very nice looking toy. Yeah, not really a whole lot wrong here.